Hello there. My name is Macharia. For any people call me Mac. So I'm a growth enthusiast and a lead generation expert and an enterprise sales expert. And I run a lead generation agency called as Lemniscate Growth. Lemniscate means infinity. Infinite growth is what I wanted to kind of go ahead and do this. That's the reason the name of the agency is Lemniscate Growth. I receive a lot of interest or a lot of requests from a lot of people from last couple of years saying that hey, how would we actually make a sustainable growth? We are not a 50 employees company, or we cannot hire a very big sales executives or marketing executives, or else some people come up and tell me like there are marketing folks, they are doing good things, but honestly it was not summing up to what we are looking at. So what is the gap looks like? So these are a lot of questions I kind of received. So I thought, why not I create a learner series, or else an introduction series of how exactly you have to uh, measure or look at, or how you have to have this uh, growth culture within the organization for every employee. So every employee adds up, or every stakeholder adds up to the organization's revenue. So that is the intention to create this 5 episode series. So what you are looking at is the first episode, and there would be 4 more episodes coming up, and it would act like a building blocks on what you have to consider as thumb rules, or what is the kind of level you need to look at. For example, looking at a skill and hiring a person, or else looking at something and tend to do something uh, is easy, but on a long run, if we look at it, we hire someone, we get someone on board, and we start working on working with them, and we finally, after x amount of time, we understand like we wasted a lot of time on a wrong person just looking at the skills. So what has to be changed here? So the alignment of how you are placed is what we need to change. So this is an example which I keep to most of the people, for every company which I am, or any person who is going through training from with me, I generally do this. So uh, this is the organization, the CEO, the co-founders, the head of sales, the head of marketing has to align with this. And this cannot be a single person. Like, your head of sales cannot be the whole organization, or your head of marketing cannot be the whole organization. So you all have to align to a mission, and that mission is very important. So this course will speak to not just people who are like trying to do something, but this is more for business owners, head of sales people, head of marketing people who are starting. Probably they are in a different role, and now they are taking up a different role. Why? Because the organization requires this kind of a transformation from those people, so the business analysts can actually look at it in this way. So considering that, I kind of came up with a 5 level episodes. I'm happy to give you more details if you wanted to speak with me. I also have my email ID listed on this first screen. So without ado, let's jump on to the topic of today. So building a $10 million MQL pipeline. Now, what do you mean by an MQL? So why? Because the MQLs and what industry has and what we have is a whole different nomenclature. So I will walk you through everything which is going to happen. So let me give you a quick preface of uh, the topic. Right, as I told you, this is going to be a 5 episode series. This is the first one. There would be 4 more coming up, and I intended to do more. Not just with me; it could be fire chats going with forward. Okay. So this is how a sneak peek of what you can expect from this series of podcasts. The first one, which is happening today now, is going to be covering more of how to build a growth culture. And the second one actually hits the bullseye, what we call it as basics of ABM, account based marketing. And then followed by how your channel strategy has to be, how your content strategy has to be, and set of tools which can actually give you 5x performance. And these tools are for free. Why? Because this podcast or this webinar recording is exclusively for people who are less than 50 employees, who are trying to do something. They achieve the market fit, and they wanted to kind of go ahead. Now they are in a position where they wanted to do more, they can do more, they must do more, but they cannot actually go without some support. For example, if you hire a sales head, anything between $60,000 to 100 grand. And someone comes up, and after 3-4 months of you working with that person, you will understand, okay, this is not what I'm expecting, so I need to have a marketing team. Now you also build a marketing, and finally you understand there are a lot of noise between marketing and sales team. So that's the reason why I wanted to create this growth culture part first, the first step. Why? Because this is where uh, your whole growth, probably you would be on your fifth year of the company, sixth year of the company, and you are making a million, 2 million kind of a revenue. And you think these numbers are good, but I wanted to increase it 2x, 2.5x, 3x, 10x. So for that, you need to have a culture in place. So I'm going to speak about how the organizational culture is going to matter and how to build one. Okay, right. Jumping on to this first topic, episode one, the $10 million MQL pipeline. Today I'm going to speak about a quick preface about who we are, what we do, what we are able to do it, and everything. And second, I'm going to speak about building a just a second, building a growth culture, which is what I spoke about. And third, I will speak about marketing and sales versus growth, how industry is transforming. And then I'll speak about sales 4.0, what is the new way of happening sales. This would also include a lot of um, examples in the coming episodes. Okay. And also the nomenclature. Like, for example, I told MQL for you is way different for MQL than for me, right? That's a reason why I wanted to also keep the nomenclature here. Now, um, yeah. So this flash is for you to forget everything you know right now. Why? Because the industry has a whole different terminology, and I have a whole different terminology for what we are doing, right? So I'll speak quickly about us. So we are Lemniscate Growth. As I told you, Lemniscate means infinity. Like infinite growth is what I always visualize. Like, all the companies can actually tap this and unleash this potential. So quickly, we are growth focused agency. You look at certain companies which we are working with, and this is a selected list of it. There are more. Um, to give a high level understanding, IQ like BankDB is a very deep tech company. They have a NoSQL database very similar to MongoDB, Aerospace, Couchbase, and they have 14 patents. And iQlect is the layer of BankDB. So BankDB and iQlect is the data sciences and AI platform, which we did a heavy lead generation, community building, and sales also. Second is Gatcoin. Gatcoin is based out in Singapore. They are what we call it as an initial coin offerings for people who who are into cryptos and blockchain. So Gatcoin is one of the celebrated ICOs back in 2018. So we did the marketing, PR, everything for Gatcoin, and Gatcoin raised close to $16.4 million in the private sale. Then comes Avenir. Avenir is the leading CLM platform on ServiceNow. Axel Partners invested close to 8 million in Avenir. We help Avenir with their lead generation, conversion rate optimization, marketing, rest of the things. Jasprit Bindra. Jasprit Bindra is the former chief digital officer of Mahindra Group, which is a $30 billion conglomerate. And he's a author and a teacher, and he runs a company called as the Tech Whisperer, based out in Cambridge. And we help him for the lead generation, personal branding, and taking care of the PR handles and everything. Bonfire is US based real estate tokenization platform. Bonfire has a lot of real estate which been tokenized and sold in tokens to their customers. And ITT Digital is the digital transformation partner for life sciences companies like Novartis, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Eli and Lilly, and we did lead generation for ITT Digital. So a quick thing, like why you need to listen to me, like asking like, Mark, why should I listen to you? What is the credibility of you that you become that so-called expert? Like, why should I listen to you? So here is a proof why I do this. It's not like I started with a recording and I'm saying that you can do this, you can do that. I actually did this multiple times to multiple companies, and I think that's why I'm better positioned to tell you like how you have to aim for $10 million. Why? Because this is my bread and butter, and I do it on a daily basis. So that's a reason why I'm doing this series. So cumulatively, every year we are generating 10 million plus marketing qualified leads, which are demos for our clients. It's a cumulative number, and it generally exceeds 10 to 12 million. And there is a point of time where we actually generated leads, took the leads for ourselves, and we sold those. We were able to do the selling for those leads which we generated, and we were able to get a 3 years contract with each year $1.6 million of the starting year is 1.6, and it's going to reduce a little more. So we did a close to a $5 million worth of sales for a company with the leads we have generated. And we built a 60,000 people community for one of the biggest traders back in Vietnam. 60,000 people are like we generated, we built, and we kind of managed those people. And it's based out in Vietnam for a trading company, you can say. We kind of trained a lot of resources on lead generation enterprise sales, specifically for startups who comes up and says, hey, we would love to engage with you, but on a longer term it is going to be not possible. They have to have someone in a house. So what we ideally do is we co-create. So we get into an understanding with the startups, and in the way that they hire interns or trainees or freshers with a lower salary. And when I say lower salary, it's on the skills based, right? Rather than hiring one big person, it's way too easy to hire 10 different people doing 10 different stuff. So we train these people, we train these resources in such a way that uh, we co-create the business plan and marketing plan along with these freshers, grads, fresh grads, and everything. And we will able to run this. So as our training includes both identifying, generating, closing the deals, identifying the leads, generating the leads, identifying the prospects, generating leads, and closing the deals. It's kind of a 360 degrees view of how you can actually look at it. So that kind of creates a huge difference for most of the companies. And yes, we also, as I told you, we also did a $16.4 million fundraise in ICOs for Gatcoin. So I think these are certain reasons which makes us, or which makes me to kind of drive this podcast or webinar, can say. Uh, Now, building a growth culture. So I'll quickly explain you this. Every phase of your organization growing, you will come across a different issue. For example, if you take an X and Y axis and you consider you are hitting a 1 million, 2 million kind of or else half a million as a revenue target, you are struggling with market and fit culture. And if you achieve that and you go to 1 million, 2 million kind of timelines, um, you will start understanding that everything is broken and you have to be the person who has to run everything. Uh, Now then, you bring reliable resources, stakeholders, and start doing it. Your revenue may increase, but your uh, 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 spends also kind of gets increased a lot, right? Moving ahead, you will hit across something called as um, cultural misfit, right? People comes from a cultural this happens very specifically when you are scaling between 2 to 80 employees, 20 to 80 employees, where you are growing and all of a sudden people start owning certain responsibilities and started bringing lines between, like, this is what I'm supposed to do and I'm just responsible for this piece. So every phase of your startup will have an issue growing. Now what is happening currently is you consider marketing as a bigger piece, right? Digital marketing is a small piece, and I'm really surprised most of the people come up and say digital marketing is everything. You need to write blogs, you need to do social media postings. uh, and it makes a little funny thing, like, what are you expecting doing that, right? You have a result driven in place, right? Every organization has to be ruthlessly productive. That's what I call it, right? So ruthlessly productive in a sense that everything you're doing, every resource of you counts, and the most precious resources of you is your time and your team's time. If you don't focus on what is right and what is going to give you more exposure, understanding, then it's a waste of time in startup, uh, or any organization, not just startup, can say, right? So first thing which kind of makes me a little uncomfortable with the truth is digital marketing is everything. No, digital marketing is not everything. Digital marketing is a piece of your bigger picture. And every objective you're driving, everything driving has to associate with company benefit in some way or the other. Not everything has to be related to sales, but 80 to 85% of your whole thing has to drive to sales. That's how you need to tie back your whole lead generation efforts, and your culture has to be built. Now, going ahead, what is happening currently? Let's take a step back, and let's start identifying what is happening. Traditional marketing is loosely packed. Why? Because you write blogs, you do social media, and you're clueless. Why are you doing this? People claim it is happening with everything, but your LinkedIn, if you go back and look at your LinkedIn, your prospects, your clients are not following your LinkedIn page. It's your employees and their friends who are job seekers positively looking for your LinkedIn posts. And it's kind of loosely packed, right? It's not strongly packed, saying that, okay, this is going to add up to somewhere up there. And there is a huge alignment issue. For example, what we call it as hot leads, marketing calls as hot leads, is not a hot lead for sales. This is very funny, and also painful, to be honest. Why? Because marketing says this struggled and brought someone to some level, and sales says, okay, they are not ready to buy. This is something which I see in a lot in most of the companies. Like, some people might not having a lead generation issue at a major scale, but they have a sales alignment issue at a major scale. Like, the lead generated by marketing cannot be consumed by sales. Maybe it's not ready or a right way. uh, Not results of strategy driven, can say, like, you are not building your marketing activities or sales activities to drive results, right? Everyone is working as an individual. I agree, everyone has to be an individual contributor. I'm 100% okay with that. But it's a utter waste of time for every business that if what I'm doing is the other person is also doing, like 10 people doing the same thing, uh, actually is a very loss of the productivity part completely. And most of the people start claiming these days, this is for hiring metrics, for the business owners. Most of the people claims they know a bunch of tools. SEMrush is something which I know, Ahrefs I know, and it makes me digital marketing. That's an utter stupidity. I'm sorry to use this word, but this is stupidity. Okay, knowing a bunch of tools cannot make you an expert. With DALI, the OpenAI tool DALI, I can generate an image. Doesn't makes me a designer, right? I can write content using ChatGPT. Doesn't make me a blog writer and author, right? So it's as simple as that. A tool to amplify your reach outs, or else amplify your whatever you're doing, automate, amplify a lot of things you are doing. And the traditional market is broken. Traditional marketing actually is broken. uh, why? Because for the businesses which is growing very fastly, like, the growth is everything. In next 1 month, if you don't grow X percentage, next month you don't exist. There are companies which are bootstrapped still exist on this criteria, and I know them very clearly. uh, Not just bootstrap, but also funded companies. Funded companies will face more kind of an issues, given that there are some people on the board trying to push, and they need to do a next level fundraise. So there are a lot of things which we need to do internally. So it's broken. Now, what I'm proposing is a growth marketing. It's not what I'm proposing, but what I experimented and came across, and which is really working for me, is growth marketing is an approach. It's an approach, like how you wanted to think of it. It may include sales, it may include strategy, it may include branding, it may include marketing, everything together. It's an approach. Now, my ideology is not to create marketing people, sales development representative, account executives, customer success. No, I wanted to create people who are capable of taking this everything and focus on one thing at a time. So people doing multi-level things with a single resource. For example, rather than you hiring one marketing, one sales guy, and one a customer success guy, I'm asking, like, hire one person who can do it, and training that person is a pretty easy thing. So this is not new to business, but I'll still go ahead and tell you. You need to hire a character. Skills can be always trained, and that's where I'm coming up. So if you hire that character, we can do the skills training. That's what I wanted to say. And yeah, growth marketing always keeps people first. That's the reason for our growth marketing initiatives is always account based marketing. It's not like you send a 10,000 email blast expecting one demo comes up, two demos comes up. No, that doesn't happen. Actually, these kind of things acts a very negative ROI. People look at you and they subconsciously think, okay, I shouldn't work with these people. Why? Because it's an unsolicited email. You don't have anything going forward, right? Like you cannot randomly go and say, "Hey, I wanted to speak with you. Let's schedule a demo." It doesn't make sense. You need to give information. You need to enlighten them with information. They need to find like you're trying to impact their business. You're trying to add value to their business, what they're doing. So that's where the whole marketing piece comes into picture. And growth is more about keeping that people first. Growth marketing and everything we do right now currently is attached with a result. So every time we write a task, sub task, estimated time, people, and next we write something called as a pillar. Where is it adding to? Is it adding to demand gen? Is it adding to lead gen? Is it adding to revenue? Is it adding to performance, productivity? So we tie this everything we do back to some kind of a metrics that is actually tangible. Um, we use marketing as a layer of the strategy. So the underline is always a strategy, like how we can make something successful. On top of it, we build marketing activities and we tightly pack them. So it converts to the objectives we defined on the very first place. Excuse me for this bad news. I'm sorry. uh, brand driven and sales focused. We're always like we write the DNA of a brand while we look at companies who are starting from the very basic things, right? We also worked with a very big bootstrap startups who made half a million, 750K or 350K per se, or people who are starting right now saying that okay, we are keeping our personal investment and we need to run. So we write the brand DNA for them, saying that how your brand should operate. It's not just about your brand color should be this, your brand logo should be this. It's more about how your brand DNA should be made, how a person you're hiring should have all these five things. For example, one of the rules we write in a hiring criteria for one of the startups we are working is we say that let people use the tool first and come back to us and come up with the areas of improvement. If this sales guy or else a marketing team, what we would always ask them, like, we are at this position and we have to go to that position. Now come up with an end-to-end plan on how we are going to take this. It might be 100% accurate, 80% accurate, 10% accurate, or 1% accurate, doesn't matter. But if someone takes some time to kind of look at your product or look at your service, understand and benchmark it to something and bring it to a level, I think that's where things goes a little differently. So yeah, we also write brand DNA guidelines for people. Um, if you are curious about it, I suggest you go to Nike brand guidelines. If you look at it, Nike wrote a long list of 10 things saying that innovation is everything for us, and if you're not innovating, we are dead. So Nike keeps this as a thumb rule, unwritten thumb rule for everyone who they're working with, or whom they're going to hire or run the company for. And the best part of growth marketing, which I see, is growth marketing actually completes 70%, 75% of your sales cycle. For example, let's consider 100 is where you end up having a customer. Ideally, what a scenario is like, marketing generates or distributes anything between 30 to 40. 160 has to be done by sales. But with the growth marketing approach, 85 75% of your whole thing is already taken care of marketing. Sales is nothing more rather than responding to RFPs, responding to certain pre-sales questions, like how you align with my existing infrastructure. So these kind of stuff, right? That's the best part of the growth marketing, which we have seen and worked on. Now, how sales is moving very fastly. um, this is again is something which you might know, but I'll still go ahead and I'll tell you. So just a second. Yeah, selling is dead, and all you have right now is you need to kind of solve problems. People doesn't like to be sold. Like if you reach out to someone and consider them as a commodity, no one likes. In fact, we don't like it someone selling to us, right? But if someone is solving for us, we get excited. Someone wants to partner with us and be a part of our growth journey, we're excited about it. So we need to most of the things started changing from sales to the solving perspective. So people started driving things through use cases, like how can you use this product, or what is the business impact it can create. uh, not like you cannot just send a random email and say okay, we wanted to connect with them. Even if you connect with them, closing that sale is too hard, right? So if you go with the solving mechanism, saying that hey, no one solved this unique problem, For example, one of the case studies which I always remember is Databricks going up and saying that, you know what, we are doing this real-time data pipelines, right? Like how Uber does a dynamic pricing. They use Kafka to build a real-time data pipelines, and you will be able to uh, generate that. So that's a unique problem, not just for Uber. It's kind of dynamic pricing is for, you name it, air tickets or sports tickets, anything, right? So that's a very better way of dealing the solutions. You cannot sell something until unless you are telling a brilliant story about why people has to choose you. So that's solving for it. Marketing plus sales is equal to growth team. Like there are, as I told you, as a multiple things. Earlier I showed you a circle of sales and marketing, and internally there is a, I'm speaking about one circle, one big circle which has marketing, sales, and everything, which is like all of these are interconnected. That's what I mean with this. Like your org is the middle hub, and everything is interconnected to it. That's how you need to build that growth team. You have to have multidisciplinary people. You cannot say that. I mean, as a growing company, you cannot have a status quo. It's as simple as that. You cannot be head of sales, head of marketing. Everyone is doing sales. Everyone does marketing. Everyone is doing marketing. So that's how simple it has to be. Uh, you are, and so I'm proposing where marketing and sales work together, starting off everything like, identifying prospects to closing them, bringing up to a level, multiple channels, bring it together and become a growth thing. So my always biggest thing which I wanted to convey, I also spoke about, like, the hottest lead of marketing team is not a sales acceptance lead. So to solve this is how I came up with it. Marketing duty is to kind of educate the prospect with who we are, who you are, what you do, what can you do to their company, what is the business impact you're going to deliver to their company. And there is a bandwidth, budget, authority, need, and time. And marketing should be able to at least get a BA and a half N, which is like the budget, authority, budget of the company, authority of the person, need. Can we sense what is the need they're looking at? Is it immediate? Is it after 6 months? They're casually looking, they're unhappy with something. So basing on that need, your marketing campaigns or your content campaigns, your channel strategy will change. That's what we are going to speak about on the upcoming episodes. Skills plus approach plus domain knowledge plus automation is all about sales 4.0. With skills, as you know, selling is not a skill, right? It cannot be a skill. Selling is something you should be passionate about. It should be in your DNA. You have something which makes the world go ow, and you wanted to kind of keep it in front of the world. So it's just not about skills. It's about, how effectively you use the tools, how effectively you plan your approach, and how effectively you will be able to get some domain knowledge, expertise on this, and how you can map your solution, your offering with their requirement, how you can keep an alignment and build a beautiful story out of it. That's important, or that's where the industry is slowly leaning toward. Now, I'll speak about a high level nomenclature. What I mean by this: account is a company. I know this could be standard for many of them, and there might be small changes in what we are looking at. Like, because we are speaking with multiple people, and someone says, "You know what? We need SQLs," and I say, "No, we will deliver MQLs." And we found out after certain amount of time that MQLs for me is SQLs for them. I'm saying I'll set up a demo, and for them SQL is a demo setup. So I thought I would just bring back and I'd let you know what does it means. Account is a company we are trying to reach out, or anyone we fit into a criteria. So in next steps, I'll speak about uh, uh, building an ABM. In that, I will speak more about accounts, prospects, contacts, suspect, uh, and everything on those lines. There would be standard nomenclature, but the nomenclature you need to understand for now is account is anyone whom you are trying to reach out to, any company you're reaching out. And in account, there could be multiple contacts. Uh, and there is one more thing which is not listed here, but I'll also speak now and debrief more on the next episode, is what we call it as persona, right? For example, you can sell this tool to a technology person, an engineering person, and maybe a procurement person. So you have three different personas in one organization or one account. So in one account, you can have multiple contacts. Again, in multiple contacts, you will have a decision maker, a decision influencer, probably the vice president of technology, vice president of engineering, vice president of automation, vice president of data are your decision makers, and anyone below, AVPs, senior directors would be your decision influencers. And again, there are personas for all these things. If you look at it, one account can actually bring it to you to 9 people. And also, one more segmentation we can look at is if your target audience is in North America, and if they are in Australia and Europe also, you are looking at three counter people also who are in US versus director in Europe versus Australia also. So your account can have multiple contacts with multiple personas, which makes our lives easy. Why? Because all you have to look at is a very handful of accounts, right? And that's where I will slowly reach out to the account based marketing part. MQL, as I told you, is someone who reaches out to you saying that, hey, I need more information. I wanted to know what you guys did, or I wanted to schedule a demo with you. So these are MQLs. Anything on these things, like, they reach out to you for more information, request more information, or they say, in a webinar, they comment saying that this looks interesting. How can I get an access to this? So these are MQLs for me. What most of the people calls as SQL also, this sales qualified leads. Now, for a high level understanding, you may think I came up with certain terms like market fit and everything, and you may feel it's a product based thing. But these are the list of segments which I kept in my mind when I speak about a company. For example, there is an enterprise software. Enterprise software can be anything in this case, right? A SaaS, IaaS, PaaS. So all these are enterprise software companies for me, right? And second, you have system integrator. You are a technology development company. You integrate SAP integrations, you do Databricks integrations, you build mobile apps, you build web applications. So these are system integration companies for me. Third is a community driven tool. For example, you are a NoSQL database, okay, or you are a new generative AI tool or a bot, and you are more dependent on your community who pays $2, $9, $11, $12 kind of. You are looking at a mass market to reach. So that's a community driven tool. We have platform builders, like Splunk is a platform builder, ServiceNow is a platform builder, Databricks is a platform builder. You could be one that too, right? There are a lot of, these days I see a lot of MLOps companies, RevOps companies, AOps companies who are platform builders themselves, right? You could be one of them. Agency, you might be a marketing agency similar to me. I'm happy to unleash these things. Why? Because end of the day, it's all about collaboration. It's never about competition for me, right? So when I say companies, I'm going to address frameworks, criteria, and these are the companies which I will consider as an examples going forward for the next episode. So anyone in this five, probably I would have missed few, but feel free to revert to me and tell me, hey Mac, you missed this kind of a segment, and I'll be happy to include for the next couple of podcasts. Now I'll speak about the next one episode. So I will pause it here for the first one. So to quick recap, I spoke more about the growth culture, how you have to build it. My thought process is that you build people, you build a DNA in your company in such a way that it is driven by growth. So you have to start with stopping the status quo. No sales of marketing wise. There could be titles. I'm extremely okay with it, but one thing which we should start avoiding is, this is my KRS KPIs. So KRS KPIs could have bullet points saying that you need to do this for sure. That falls under your criteria, but rest of them you should contribute and you should learn. That's where you need to do it. Learning should be the new criteria for building your culture. Scaling 1 million is a very big feat. Okay, half million for bootstrap company with so much of competition, a lot of innovation happening on a daily basis. Like, you think of a technology today and go back to sleep, tomorrow morning there is a new technology. Right? We're speaking about that dynamic and vibrant community changing, which is a great thing to happen. So I wanted to address this with the growth culture part. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on growth@lemniscategrowth.com, or else academy. If you wanted to train your resources or know more about this, reach out to me on academy@lemniscategrowth.com. On the next 4 episodes, we will speak about ABM. Next one is going to be pretty interesting, enjoyable, given that I'm going to speak a lot about your target audience, how to look at the demographics, firmographics, how should you actually do the media channels, and the content strategy should look like. I'm going to address all those things. And also, as a bonus, last episode, I'm going to give you a lot of tools which you can use for free. And you can actually cut down at least 30% of your time which you're spending on certain tasks, right? Thank you. This is the first episode. Thank you. I hope you will like it. If you also have a feedback, please reach out to me. Thank you so much.